let's get bold, make a decision and run.
All right.
Because if I was first selectman, there'd be a lot of bold moves.
Okay, Trump.
Get your ass, I'm the Trump of East Windsor.
Trumper.
You got a hero now, huh?
I don't know. A lot of people like it. I think he's stepping on himself a little, but not too
We'll see
bad.
what happens.
I wish you would slow down a hair.
Yeah, a little bit.
Slow down just a little bit. Slow down.
What time do you leave?
I'm not real crazy about it.
Right after you.
Thursday night.
One
we'll
more,
have it
one
again.
more
so
vote,
this
it took
coming
about
Thursday,
2 minutes
too.
and then I was out.
Oh, right, 6 o'clock, the ninth. It's right in here, number 1.
Yeah, in fact, I got it. I got things to pass on.
There's not much schedule here.
I went to the harbor.
Well, we got the ninth.
Budget workshops, 2/9, 2/16, 2/18,
I got
2/23.
something here.
I said, yeah, I know, I was there for something else. Yeah,
That's
what were you
all
there
of it.
for? You guys used to, okay, then I got the tax. Yeah,
February, right here.
I didn't get that.
All right, so we got,
It's in last
we got
week.
9,
You
16,
ready?
and 23, right? And 18 on a Saturday.
Yep,
Those are the ones?
yep.
Okay. On a roll.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order. February 7th, Board of Selectmen meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the agenda approval. Go.
Question, not for tonight, I don't want to add it for tonight, but for the next meeting, okay? I'd like to add the town fire marshal report,
Yes.
and I'd like to discuss possibly a meet and greet, Board of Selectmen, with whether it's casino related, because we're so busy right now trying to communicate with the townspeople to make sure that they have the opportunity to speak
Okay.
to the Board of Selectmen, so maybe invite the Board of Finance too, but just something to think about, that's all.
Okay, we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Could hold it an hour before the regular
Yeah,
selectmen's
just
meeting.
like 6 o'clock seemed to work pretty good. Yeah. But I would like to change the agenda because the casino discussion is 10B. And we're going to have Mike Andriana here tonight. He's going to go in an executive session with us, but he also could answer questions about the casino. So if we could move that to the last item, then he'll probably be here about 7:30 or so. So I would entertain a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to take 10B out of order, to actually it'll be E.
Yeah, 11F, I guess you could call it.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna take it out of unfinished business and put it into new business then?
Yeah, or, yeah.
Okay, then that would be 11F.
Either that or just put it after
Well, we could,
unfinished business.
well,
You
we'll
know,
have
you
to
can-
wait
you
for him
can
to
still
come.
call it,
So
yeah.
we'll just put it at the end because he'll be there.
Call it either way.
All right, is there a second?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Right.
Steve, Dicker, or Steve.
Me. Geez, I'm usually loud enough you can hear me.
Okay. Dennis, everyone's here. Parliamentary procedures, I think we know those. Approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 17th, 2017.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Okay, that passes. Communication, is there any communication? Okay, I don't have any, so moving right along. Public participate? Oh, forgot something. Too late. Public participation, we did a lot in the public hearing formally, but any public participation? Okay. East Windsor 250th anniversary.
Hello. Like the sweatshirt.
Thanks. $20.
She's got them with her, no one.
Do you have any with you?
Yeah, I do. I have the box of magnets, totes, mugs, and sweatshirts. So
Okay, so after the meeting or in the
Just
kitchen
hand-
area?
Yeah.
She'll take the money and take it to you, Bob. Tom will have it all out for you.
all right, so 250 stuff. Reminder that the slogan contest for high school East Windsor residents ends this Friday. So pass the word along. We have all of our merchandise. And then for some of our events that are coming up, we kind of have some tentative month hard dates. Our masquerade ball, our deposit has been sent in. So that will be December 31st, 2017 at Lenote. The first New Year's Day hike for the American Heritage River Commission will be on the 1st. We are also going to have a reenactment, which will be in June, along with the Food Truck Festival. We're going to have a vintage baseball exhibition game sometime in April. We're also going to have a Victorian lady who does weaving and things like that, hopefully with a split event with the senior center for a tea party. Don't think we have, tentatively March for that. And then opening of the time capsule in May 19th. We're also going to have a blues, brews, and barbecue, hopefully in May as well. Also have the community day, which will be the final event, September 22nd of 2018. So we have events being started to plan. Our fundraising committee has typed up some letters, and we're getting letters out to businesses and the residents. I think that's it. So we are starting to move forward.
I did go to the meeting, and the reenactment, I guess it's Revolutionary War, is it?
American.
American
Not
Revolution.
the French Revolution?
Ah, gee.
I don't know.
I was hoping a
History's not my
Bastille.
thing for that.
Okay, and it'll be at Scout Hall?
It'll be at Scout Hall with the Food Truck Festival, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be in the back field by the pond is where the reenactment will be. And then
Tents and maybe a cannon?
hopefully there's gonna be, hopefully not that many tents, just to make things a bit easier, but they're gonna have sections of meet and greets kind of with different, historical war people, and then the Food Truck Fest will kind of be over by like the soccer fields and stuff like that. So it'll take up the entire Scout Hall for that, so.
And then the final, which is, the event would be a parade and a
Community day,
picnic,
with a parade
community
and a
day.
picnic and-
I guess people are gonna build floats and stuff for the
Yeah,
parade.
we're gonna try to have, like Community Day usually does, they usually have a parade. We don't know where it's gonna be yet, possibly the res, but we still don't know. And that would be a whole day, of celebrations from the parade and the picnic to burying the time capsule to fireworks at the end. So that would be one very full day of events.
Do you have a date for that, like September
September 22nd.
22nd, yeah?
The reds worked out so well for the last couple.
Really did.
It did, it worked out really well last year for Community
Perfect
Day.
space
Well,
for
that
it.
And it
Pavement-
was
that
great for
pavement should be
Abby's
done
helping
by
hand
then,
as
too.
well, so,
And
yeah.
it's close to the town hall if the time capsule is buried here again. That way it's just a short
Yeah.
walk or bus trip, depending on how everything works out logistically, but that's the plan. So,
Very good.
You say you have with you tonight, you have sweatshirts.
sweatshirts, magnets, mugs, totes.
You'll take one of each.
Okay.
And we're gonna get hats, I guess, pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hats
so
are being
nice.
ordered. We have a variety of colors of hats. I'm not sure what those variety of colors are. But we are working on getting hats that will be embroidered. So those will be in, they haven't been ordered yet, so we're hoping at beginning to middle of March for those. And then, once spring comes, we'll do t-shirts. So, thanks.
Okay, we're gonna skip 10B and go on to voting at referendums. And, let's see. We passed a resolution to set the voting hours, referendums for the year 2017 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
8 PM.
8 p.m. And that was like the last meeting, but I believe it was the town clerk said that we have to have it approved by a town meeting. So I would entertain that we do the motion again and move it to a town meeting. So I would entertain the motion to set the voting hours for all referendums for the year 2017 from 8 a.m. to
6 a.m. to
6
8
a.m.
p.m.
to 8 p.m.
And send it to a town
and send
meeting.
it to a town meeting. Are you going to make that motion?
I'll make that motion. I did.
Should also supersede the original motion,
Okay.
Okay.
to be correct, and I'll second it then, since you got it out first.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
You got a couple months to get that done.
Okay. Now we'll move on to real estate sale. And so this is a town meeting that's going to have to take place a little sooner. We have 10 pieces of property for sale, and some of it's for through a tax sale, some of it's from foreclosure. And most of this land is not worth very much money. Let's see.
That assessment on 20 Woolham Road is worth $93,000.
Yeah,
Sure.
but that's the assessment. I'm not sure the condition
What
of
the actual value, yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
the actual value?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one. There was one here, though.
It's where the trees are, and there was a house back in
Yeah,
there.
and in Windsorville Road, here's the assessment for $46,000. I think somebody's offered $1,000 for it.
Right.
So, because you can't build on it. So
That's it. What good
Do
is
we
it?
have a realtor?
we have two realtors.
Okay.
And I know one is Chris Davis, and the other person's name I forgot. But we divided up the properties between the
Lori
two.
Gabriel?
Could be. What's-
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
Yeah,
say-
Lori Gabriel, she's with.
Oh, no, it's a gentleman.
Okay.
Maybe Dan someone.
Coyne? Dan Coyne?
Don't know.
No, we went with people in town.
Well, but we didn't
Didn't we?
we went with the lowest commission.
Yeah, well, those two identical, right?
Yeah, and it worked out well. But now they've actually got some offers. So to sell town property, it has to be approved by a town meeting. So I would entertain a motion to send these
To consider and
10.
approve the sale of the following town properties at market value and authorize the first selectman to sign binding sales agreement for the 10 listed properties and send to town meeting.
And I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, discussion?
I think we could list them at market value, but there's a few of these that
Well,
you're dreaming.
Well, by market value, it really has to be determined by assessment by the, if you want to put another wording in there, but basically the real estate agent will come back with an offer and we'll have to decide, myself, the treasurer, whether it seems to be fair and the tax collector.
There's a few of these properties, like the first one. How are you going to get to it?
Well, it would probably be a budding property owner. So, yeah, no, these are, the reason they're foreclosed on or the tax sale, people thought they were worthless and they weren't paying taxes on it. They said you can have the property, basically.
So, do we know what the sale price for each of these properties is? Do we have a buyer for each of these?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well,
We
that's-
have buyers for maybe 3 of them,
The-
3 offers.
The key is that the offers don't match the market value when we go to a town meeting and they approve the sale at the assessed value, then
Well,
we
now-
really can't cut the price.
No.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I did, not the assessed value, I said market value, because that's what
Okay,
the assessment would have to be. It's yet to be determined.
So there was a pretty extensive email exchange between a whole slew of town staff, and including the town attorney. And in order for us to move this properly through town meeting, we need to know the sale price too. So,
But, yeah, but that would mean for every sale, we'd have to have a town meeting.
Right,
yes,
yes.
or you'd have multiple items on the same town meeting agenda.
Right.
That's possible.
But not probable, because right now we do have 3.
Okay.
Well,
But we'd have to have town meetings very quickly, because a person's not going to wait very long once, as you know, a realtor will come in with a piece of property and negotiate, and the person will say, okay, I'll agree to that price, and then they have to move fairly quickly. They can't say, okay, now we have to have a town meeting, unless we do it quickly.
That's fine, we can do it quickly.
Okay.
You can do twice a month if you had to.
I'd even do a special town meeting if there was an opportunity to
Yeah,
actually
but
move some.
if you
kind
do
of
it,
weight out the
if you
grass.
do it at a selectmen's meeting, it's, by the time you advertise it in the papers and everything, make it legal, you're right there at a selectmen's meeting date anyway. I can't picture anybody buying any of these properties that won't wait 30 or 60 days, as long as their offer is the first one to be considered.
Okay.
Because most of these properties, there's nobody gonna move in tomorrow morning and live in them.
Where's your 97 acres on South Main Street? Where is that?
It's not listed here that I see.
97
Says
acres, that's a
97.
lot of land. Where is
Probably.
that?
Oh, 97
Yeah.
acres, South
Doug
Main Street.
King's.
Wolcott Landing.
The heck is that?
Area.
That's that
Oh.
condo complex. That's all, that's meadowland. That's all floodplain, I'll bet you. Because they own all the way to the river.
Where's Wilcott Landing?
It's right across from,
Yeah,
it's
it's
on South Water Street, right across from where Pasco's.
Just beyond South Water Street.
Kitty corner from Pasco's.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's,
that's all floodplain, I'll bet you.
well, and it's also, there's some funny thing about the zoning on that. What's R3? Single family, I don't know the details.
You got another one,
Is that the piece of land that's kind of on Water Street where that guy built that big house?
no.
No, I think there's
No.
condominiums there, and it's in front of the
It's above
condominium.
his on the side over there. That was some part of Cadicus's, wasn't it, originally?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beyond Steve's, that next property.
Wolcott Landing is next to that house you're talking about.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that
so-
abuts on the backside of that new
So
house.
it
Landing
goes
is all those
behind those
condos.
condominiums in
Yeah,
there?
that's where it is.
That's Wolcott Landing, all those condos.
Okay, well,
52 acres?
then what we could do is reject, if we reject the motion, then I'll bring them individually to the town meetings.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay, so all those in favor?
Do you want to vote on it? or
I'll
do you just
resend my
want to
motion.
resend a second.
Okay,
Easy
all
way.
right, then, that's what
Bring
we'll
them, bring a bona fide offer, hey, if,
Yeah, I think we got 3, so,
hey, that's very good. Just go to the town meeting, get her done.
okay.
So the motion then on the table to vote on is what?
There is no motion.
There's no motion.
Get rid of it,
Okay,
because we already voted to list them, right?
yes.
Okay, then we're all set.
Okay, town budget presentation. I don't think I need to go through the PowerPoint again, because everybody's been here. So, in essence, we're going to, you have the books with the budget in it, and just for anybody who wasn't here at the public hearing, on the website, the complete budget is available. And it's on the news item on the website, and hopefully we'll get one of the red banner across the homepage too with the budget there. So just click on it. It's about 100 pages, but as you scroll through it, you might want to just print a few pages at a time, because the essence are on 3 or 4 pages. And then I can pass out to you our first budget hearings and who would be involved, and that's this Thursday, but as Dale pointed out, we could have a snowstorm on Thursday, so,
Yeah, Steve will be making money.
yeah.
That's why we scheduled that extra meeting, Bob, too, so if it's really bad.
It's New England though. It's New England, we have snow.
It is, wow, it's hard to
Yeah, it is
believe, I was
February,
wondering.
Now that you mention
It's
it.
gonna be almost 60 degrees tomorrow,
I know.
and then 6 to 12 inches of snow on Thursday.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're not gonna be here on Thursday. I won't be here on Tuesday.
6 inches is enough.
Okay, there's two things here. One thing is a page in the book you'll have to replace. There's just, in the budget book, it's just the number of people employed by the Board of Education was misprinted for the last 2016. Here's the budget schedule for Thursday.
Board of Ed, is that gonna be number 10? In the book.
I guess, I'm not sure.
They don't present to us anyway.
So in terms of the budget presentations, is our intention to make adjustments to the budget before us as we go along? Or are we going to take in all of the presentations from all of the groups and then make our adjustments at the end? Or are we going to hear each of the presentations on a given night and then before we go home that night, make any adjustment? How are we going to do this? What's the process?
I would answer that yes.
Either or.
Anything we want?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, yeah, but I think at the end, we'll revisit everything and make the final.
But that's when we
adjustment.
make our final document,
Okay,
because you gotta kind of look how everything plays out before you.
yeah, but
Because
we can
one
make,
adjustment
we can make
could snowball
adjustments.
down the line to 3 others.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now town treasurer pending vacancy.
I don't know yet, I just put it up front, I'll figure it out later.
Okay, this is something that the human resource officer, or not officer, generalist, Amanda put together.
Thank you.
And this is, for those who are not aware, the town treasurer is leaving to go to Manchester. She had a substantial raise in pay to do that, so I couldn't really wish her well. And her last day will be March 1st. And this is what we've put together to, and I guess I'd forgotten, Jason wrote me an email, I think he said keep the train on the track or something like that. So I'll read it. It said, we are putting together an interview panel. The panel will consist of Patricia Cortacville, tax collector, Amanda Scroll, generalist, myself, finance director from the town of South Windsor, and Geraldine Corso of the Board of Finance. We will advertise for a chief financial officer / town treasurer. We will be advertising the vacancy on CCM Job Bank, Journal Enquirer, town website, and the Connecticut GFOA, whatever, I guess that's a brochure or journal. And it lists the website where you can see what the GFOA is. And then it said in the interim, Gail Carolus has agreed in her role as assistant treasurer to work on the budget through the month of February. She will attend budget workshops and receive comp time for any time worked over her normal schedule hours. Gail should be compensated for work outside her job description at a rate indicated in the clerical contract the day following Kim Lord's last day of employment here. This will ensure continuity of the town while the job is posted. So that's our plans for right now. I think they're still evolving, but after tonight's meeting and tonight's discussion, we will advertise for the position.
Town treasurer.
6-6.
Yep.
So any discussion?
The only thing I'd like to see, are we gonna do it the same way you go through the whole batch and then come down to 2 candidates and then second interview?
Yes.
Okay. On that second interview, I would like to see added to this list, if we can possibly do it, some certified accounting person that is commensurate with municipal finance. I mean, a CPA of some kind or something. Yeah, we're gonna have to pay them a little, but
Well, okay.
I think
but-
it would be a wise investment, just to make,
Okay,
you know, at the last one. The first one, not a problem, but
all right.
it's a serious position, and we certainly want the best person possible. And sometimes technical questions can be answered, and somebody that's quite knowledgeable in accounting will be just like English to them, and the rest of us, it's Greek.
Wouldn't that function be largely served by the South Windsor Finance Director, though? I didn't realize they were on the panel when we spoke about this before.
You ought to take a little heat off of them, too, if you had an outside professional, Jason.
Well, we can look around, or maybe in,
Or at least one more financial professional, preferably not from the immediate area. Somebody that's, you know, somebody that's qualified, and there's some good people
Yeah,
at
I think
CCM that would
yeah.
do it.
yeah. It's important that we
Glenn
get
Clarko would be
a
hell
very
of
good
one.
person in this position. Kim has shown how much a good person is worth and
Amen.
can save the town a lot of money, really. The position paid for itself.
She's done a good job.
Regarding the title of Chief Financial Officer / Town Treasurer, per section 6-6, appointed officials required by the charter, Town Treasurer is very specific that it is not a Chief Financial Officer, but a Town Treasurer.
And that's what it says, I think.
That's true. The reason we put it in there is we thought we'd get a better quality candidate if we advertised it as a Chief Financial Officer / Treasurer.
Well, Chief Financial Officer versus Town Treasurer is probably $40,000 difference in salary.
And while you may get better applicants, when they find out that that's actually not what's permitted under the charter, are we going to lose them?
Well, the town treasurer is an at-will employee. So we can fire her if we want to, and we can raise her salary if we want to. So I think Kim, or our current treasurer, is the chief financial officer. She's handling the pensions. She's handling all contracts. She's the chief financial officer and doing an excellent job.
But as far as the pension goes, the ordinance establishing the pension and investment board is specific in stating that the town treasurer will be the pension.
Well, and what I'm saying is, I think we can advertise for if we don't want to advertise for what we said, chief financial officer / town treasurer. And when we talk to them, we can say, well, according to our charter, you have to be titled town treasurer. And they say, I can't accept the title. Then that answers that question. But I don't think we should cut ourselves short in candidates just because.
Do we have a job description?
And that's the key. We have a job description for Kim. And our current town treasurer, I haven't reviewed it. Maybe we'll make some changes. Maybe we can, at this table, make some changes. But that's the key. We want a person who can fit the job description that we want. So that's a key.
If I remember correctly, didn't we give her a pretty good raise?
We did.
Yes.
And now she's got a
She's got a hell of a-
$29,000 raise
a
above
hell of a
that.
raise.
Okay, so did she come back and say, look, I've got this offer, do you guys want to do something with me, or did she even give us a chance?
Well, and in a sense, she didn't. Mainly because she's the chief financial officer, and she knew that it would be very difficult to get that. But in a sense, I talked to her about that, and she felt that we couldn't afford it, in a sense, or it wouldn't be easy for us to do for her.
I'd like to see the job description when it's available.
Yep.
Yeah, if you can
Would
email
you
it.
want me to update it, or you want the current?
Send
We
us
need
the
to
current
know-
one, and then we can update it maybe at the next meeting or
Sure.
something. Then
Absolutely.
we'll have a.
Theoretically, you shouldn't be advertising until you got your job description approved.
Do that.
I mean, really. I mean, I hate to wait, because, you know, it's gonna take time enough to do it.
Well,
Pretty tough time of the year to be doing it.
and our agenda's already published for the budget, so we can't add it to that.
Sure, good.
Can we add it as an agenda item?
No, you could just repost the agenda with the,
Yeah.
for Thursday night.
Yeah. Do it as a special meeting, right?
We could do that.
24 hours, you got time, get it done, we'll do it, we'll do that with the Thursday.
Yeah, we'll
Get her
discuss the
done.
job description, we'll just add that to
Yeah.
the,
Let's get it
Okay.
done.
the list
That
of
way
things
we'll
that
hold
we're
it
gonna
up.
do.
Okay.
So when are we gonna start paying money enough to keep good people here?
Well,
And we
You know,
start
everybody
passing
comes
budgets.
here, everybody comes to this town and works here. They don't get paid what they're probably worth in other towns. They learn all the ropes here in East Windsor. Then they move on to more pay, a better job. And it seems to me she was doing pretty good. You were really happy with her. She always had a good presentation all the time. And now we've lost her. Now, from what I see that she was doing, I don't know if we're gonna find somebody that can step right in and take over where she left off
You know.
and do as good a job. So we gotta stop being the training ground here. That's what we are in East Windsor. I see it all the time here. People come and they leave for better jobs, for more money, you know? So we're gonna have to start thinking about, do we wanna keep training people here and then let them go? You gotta pay more money. That's what it's gonna be.
What's the present salary for the treasurer?
I believe it's 86,000.
86,000.
That's nothing to sneeze at, in my opinion.
That's
We,
not- that's-
and we
that's not business.
increased that by 9% if I remember.
We gave her $8,000.
9,000, yeah. So the position is well paid for,
Yes.
It's a fair salary.
as a town treasurer, not as a chief financial officer.
Right.
Chief financial officer, you're gonna, like I said, 80, 100, 120 is probably a fair price for a chief financial officer. So well, let's take a look at the job description and then we can discuss it on Thursday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause, I mean, you go to Manchester, there's a lot bigger nut there too. She's gonna end up with a hell of a lot more workload than she has now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they end up, sometimes moving up and it isn't necessarily better, but that's, good luck. She's a very good person.
Not always greener on the other
No,
side of the
it isn't.
fence.
But, you know, for a small town, I think we're not too bad off with our salary range.
Okay. Any more discussion? We'll go on to 11D,
Okay.
Town Clerk.
I'll make a motion to approve the town clerk's appointment of the assistant town clerk, assistant registrar of vital statistics, in the name of Amy Lamb, for a term of 2/7/2017 to indefinite, and according to Connecticut General Statutes, Section 7-19 and Section 7-38.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
I
Jason?
have two things. One, is she new? I don't know who she is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Secondly, can we appoint somebody indefinitely?
No, we don't appoint him, the treasurer does.
The treasurer?
I mean,
appoints
town,
the
yeah, town clerk, excuse me. Town clerk makes the appointment. We went through this extensively a few years back.
Okay, but. and-
We're only didn't you said I approved the appointment? We didn't make the appointment.
approval of the town clerk
An
appointment.
indefinite
Approved.
term.
And it's a
means
definite term.
We don't know when the
She
term's going
she
to end.
leaves tomorrow
We
morning,
don't
it's
reappoint
over.
somebody?
No, they just, they're union employees. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right. Because we did the same motion in 2010, it's closed.
Jason?
Hold on. Give me 1 second, I'm just reading this statute.
Are there any checks to sign while Jason's looking?
Yeah, you have check register.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, no, no.
One registered.
Okay.
I vote yes.
Unanimous.
We did the same thing in 2010.
Yeah, I wasn't here in 2010.
Yeah,
It just-
wow.
I-
Yeah, I was.
I've never heard of appointing somebody in perpetuity before.
It can be
Well,
done.
first time for everything, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Learn something tonight.
Isn't like she's getting any more pay. It's a union position.
Okay, now we'll go on to Pullman and Comley waiver conflict, the conflict waiver.
Pass it around, please. I didn't see that. Wasn't in the packet.
They were in
Oh, okay.
discussion of Pullman.
That's actually this, I couldn't find this email.
No.
Jason, here.
So we got an email from Pullman and Conley stating that they had a new client that they were interested in taking on, and there may be a point of conflict between the town. And they asked if we would consider granting a waiver to take on that conflict. I don't have any issue at all with that. It's a solar company. It's a solar company called Lodestar Energy. And there's not, in my estimation, there's not potential jeopardy for the town. So it was in email between Josh, Bob, and I asked that it just be added as an agenda item so that we could discuss it and vote on that rather than just doing it, in the interwebs and not having that be in the full light of day. So there's the background on it. I would move to grant a waiver to Pullman and Conley to take on Lodestar Energy Company as a client.
I'll second it.
Okay, and just as a point of discussion, they came in and talked to us about putting in solar panels.
Is that the same company?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it
They're
is.
gonna go down to NorCap, be both sides of NorCap.
So,
It's already kind of a done deal other
Yeah.
than the legal.
And that's what Pullman is interested in doing. So they rightly asked if we had an issue because.
Yeah, if we were fighting it, then it might be,
Yeah,
but.
That's exactly right.
I don't see
We
a
supported,
problem.
we voted to support it, so. I have no problem. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And now, our final agenda item, which is
Not really.
the casino, discussion of the casino. Isn't that correct?
Yep.
All right. And Mike Andriana, if you could come to the table.
Particular place you want.
Well, no,
Right,
any
the chair, we'll
particular.
slide them in the middle. whatever.
Yeah, we'll sit in the middle.
Yeah, then you can face the people. that way.
Yeah. Mike is our attorney who is negotiating with the attorneys in the tribal nations to come up with a development agreement. And a lot of people from the town, including myself and Jason Bauza, and at other times, we've got input from other people and on the Board of Selectmen. And we've got the Chief of Police, Superintendent of Schools, Planning and Zoning were some of the people who gave us input. And now we've come to the point where we've actually made a proposal and given it to the tribal nations. And so we're starting the actual detailed negotiations. And maybe I'll let Mike talk a little about the whole process, perhaps, what we've gone through and what maybe you see us the future bringing.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Andriana. I'm a partner at Coleman & Conley. I am, as Bob explained, representing the town in the negotiations with the tribes or MMCT venture in connection with the casino negotiations. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to provide you any real detail on the numbers. Probably the biggest reason is because, as you all know, there's a competitor out there across the river, and while we have started preliminary discussions with the casino tribes, I am sure they are also in discussion, and for that reason, no selection has been made yet. We can't be in a position where we're publicly disclosing proposals and what we would like and different things like that. But just to give you a general overview of the process, obviously I'm guessing some of you were at the informational meeting here in town and heard what they had to say. As Bob indicated, through work with many of the department heads here in town, we went through a fairly extensive analysis of if the casino came to East Windsor, what effect it could have on various services and departments within town. And that was really the basis for our proposal. Kind of our overriding concept was to propose, areas where we thought that the direct development of the casino would impose additional service requirements, either on public safety or schools or various things like that. Trying our best to estimate what those actual or predicted costs might be prior to anything really happening. So that's what was the original submission to the Indian tribes. We really haven't, since that point, got into any really detailed back and forth. I would say we are still in the very preliminary stages. Maybe some feeling out of each other, various things like that. As far as the process as a whole, I would assume from this day forward, it should move relatively quick. I mean, they have a lot to get accomplished in a short period of time. They have to pick a site. I think what the state is expecting, at least this is my understanding, is they pick a site, they finalize their agreement with that host community, and after that, would they go for the legislation, assuming they could get the legislation passed at the state legislature. And there's people supporting it at the state level, there's people against it at the state level, so we really don't know on that end either. So at this point, that is where we are. Obviously, my mind, and I think a lot of your town representatives, obviously this is a big deal and a big development project for the town of East Windsor. It is very significant given size, number of employees, the kind of activity that's going on there. So it is a serious and kind of not lengthy in time, but very thorough negotiation process. And I know all of you would love a lot of details and what the numbers are and everything, but unfortunately, just kind of where we are at this point, we can't disclose that at this point. So that's kind of an update as to what's going on now.
Okay.
I guess I can take questions, Ken?
Yeah, I think, and I would say now, we don't have to hold our questions to public participation, so you certainly can ask questions now. John?
Okay, I understand this whole process started a couple of years ago, and the legislature passed a public act 15-7. Right. Can you explain what that means in terms of, was there a commitment to have a casino and the Indians were required to go out and find a location and then come back and get approval of that location, or?
That's 15-7 did not legalize casino gambling in Connecticut at all. It basically authorized the tribes to go out and try to find a host community. And the legislation, that legislation specifically talks about entering into a development agreement with that host community, and then having to come back to the legislature to get actual casino gambling on non-reservation land legalized in Connecticut. And my understanding, and I tell you guys, I check almost every day kind of what's going on as far as legislation at the state level. If you do a search, there's a number of bills out there that talk, or in its title, talk about casino gambling, but at this point, they're all what we would call placeholder bills, where they just have a title, and there's no language or words to them anymore. It's just a title either to legalize casino gambling, in north central Connecticut, something as simple as that, and that's all it talks about. So at this point, there's really no legislation out there that would get into the details of how the casino gambling would be legalized. Yep.
Did 15-7 specify a county that they wanted it in?
Did I bring that with me? I don't think it did. 15-7 was a fairly simple bill that just gave the authority for the tribes to go out and find a site. It was almost a compromise. To be honest, back in 2015, the tribe's initial purpose was to get it legalized back then. Because obviously their whole purpose is to get a casino up sooner than the one up in Springfield. And the compromise legislation at that point in time was that they didn't legalize casino gambling, but they kind of gave them this ability to go find a host community.
Yeah.
Bob Light from here in East Windsor. Tell me your opinion, or tell me what you know specifically. I understand that 15-7 was litigated and challenged and held up, but that there is an appeal pending, and certainly if it's not appealed by somebody in the legislature itself, that it'll certainly be appealed by MGM. The other thing that I have understood is that the intention of MMCT, whether it's to put a casino into Windsor Locks or East Windsor, has a time frame based on public safety and security committee approval by the end of the legislative session in June, so they can begin construction in the summer, because they have a 15 to 18 month time frame. What's your take on the whole thing, if
Okay,
I'll
try to answer these. There definitely was litigation with respect to the passage of 15-7. I think MGM's argument was that it was, and I am not a constitutional lawyer, but that it was unconstitutional in the sense that it gave the two tribes kind of this exclusive right to look for a casino not on reservation land. I don't think that has been resolved yet, but that's out there. You know, let's be honest, MGM's going to do everything in their power to try to stop this. I mean, we're talking big money here. As far as your timing, and everything I've heard, in fact, in the informational sessions as well from the tribes, is they need to get it all the way. They need to get the legislation really approved this session, which ends in June, in order for them to be on a timeline that would enable them to have their casino, whether it's East Windsor or Windsor Locks, built somewhat close to the timing of when the one in Springfield is expected to be completed. So they are on, that's a tight time frame.
So my additional comment, if that's being true, and I agree with that, if this town and the negotiating board, whoever it is, and it sounds like you guys have been having a lot more meetings than you can let on the information about, really wants a casino in this town, it's all about lobbying efforts right now, and they need to be directed at the security and, or the Public Safety and Security Commission. The co-chairman of that very committee, in fact, is our state senator, Tim Larson. And I believe the other co-chair is Tony Guglielmi, okay? And there's a new member on there. I just, if that's the will of the town and the will of the people that are doing the negotiating, you better get your lobbying efforts going, because from what I read and from what I hear from our other representatives, they're not going to make a move until this thing has either held up in court or been appealed by MGM.
To speak to that point, what I would say is a few things, and I think you're absolutely right. It would start in the Public Safety Committee. As you might guess and expect, both tribes have, numerous lobbyists at the state. From our standpoint, we obviously, neither town would be the one introducing the legislation. That is probably going to come from the tribes and with discussion with the state. But I think we have talked internally about, once that happens, possibly having a presence at the state to if it's something that looks agreeable to us, to support that. You're right, and I think that in some way makes sense, so that the state legislators understand that it is not only the tribes that are pushing this, but for a town like East Windsor, and even a town like Windsor Locks, if they support it, having it in their town, given that they can make the right deal with tribes, it probably would be important for legislators to hear that there is local support for that as well.
This was brought up, I believe, at a recent meeting that our two state legislators, but not our state senator, attended, that was hosted by the Chamber of Commerce and the Connecticut Business Industry Association. My own personal opinion, and having talked to both of those two state representatives that represent East Windsor, is it's wait and see. They're sitting on the fence, waiting to see. So,
thank you.
Any further questions or comments?
I'd just like to say, this is Wendy Parker, 171 Greenwoods Lane. As far as the casino is concerned, I was on the fence at the beginning because I didn't have enough information, and I don't like to make any decision until I feel I have enough information to do that. And I attended a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I was really impressed with the presentation that was made. I personally, as everybody knows, I'm involved with the youth center, and I don't want to say much because I'll probably cry like they did when it happened, but they came to our fundraiser a couple weeks ago, and they donated $3,000 to our youth center, $1,500 from each tribe. And that is just simply because they believed in the cause and they believed in the children being our future. And they don't even know if they're coming to our town, you know what I mean? We obviously know it's between our town and another community, but they still wanted to make a difference because they're gonna be close. And to me, that speaks volumes to their ethics and their commitment to local communities. And I do understand there are concerns people have, it's all over Facebook. And I wish more people, this is my personal feeling, I wish more people that would voice their opinion in public forums like Facebook would come out to the town meetings. Everybody knows it's here, everybody has a chance, just like I do, and probably some people would enjoy doing it more than I do. I actually hate speaking in public. But if you believe in something, you have to kind of put your foot forward and do something about it instead of just complaining. So I just feel either way, if it is going to be here or the next town over, we're going to have some of the issues that people are saying, and why not have it be that our town that benefits and is able to work with the tribes to make our community even better. I believe in East Windsor's future wholeheartedly, and I just want to see the best for us all. And I'm sorry for rambling.
Thank you.
Joe LaJoy on Reservoir Avenue. This is kind of an ignorant question, but it's my understanding that for East Windsor that this casino isn't up for referendum, but in Windsor Locks it is. So if they chose Windsor Locks, but it got voted down from referendum over there, where would it leave them from there? Would they just bounce over to here, or?
That's a good question. And I think probably we should have, that would be a question maybe for the tribal nations to answer. From my perspective, and maybe Mike can follow up a little, but right now we're working on a development agreement, and I don't know if they can sign a development agreement with two people. And I don't think they can sign a development agreement without having that referendum. So I don't know.
I could.
Yeah.
Your second part there, Bob, I could answer definitely. Without, just so, right, in Windsor Locks, the plan is to have a referendum to vote on it. In East Windsor, the plan is, given what the charter says and given what you have to have town meetings for and referendums for, in East Windsor, we've concluded that the Board of Selectmen has the power to approve the contract. To Bob's point, in neither case would a development agreement, whether it was signed or not, be effective without, say in East Windsor, approval of the Board of Selectmen, say in Windsor Locks, without the referendum passing. Now, to the first point, you can get maybe a little cute and say that, maybe reach an agreement and say that this agreement becomes effective upon the passage or approval at a referendum. To your very first question, it's an interesting question. What would happen in that case? It can kind of cut both ways, and the tribe, I'm sure, has thought long and hard about it, but hasn't shared a whole lot of what they would do. Obviously, from an East Windsor perspective, if that's the route it went and it got voted down in Windsor Locks, it would give East Windsor a lot of leverage. And they wouldn't want that. So it's a little tricky that way. So we'll have to see what happens there.
My name's Stanley, 87 High Street. That being said, Mike, the tribal nations have expressed a desire to be in a community that welcomes them and wants them. I would view a referendum that was negative to their proposal to be quite unwelcoming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would agree with that as well.
I wanted to remark on Wendy's comments about the $3,000 donation. Perhaps, Jason, you can verify it. I understand that that donation was not a tribal donation, that was a private donation from each of the tribal chairmen.
That's my understanding, but I didn't see them write the check.
And on the other fact that Wendy made, I draw caution to all the interaction that goes on all the different East Windsor Facebook sites. So let me repeat myself as I did at the meeting there, and I've had, at the meeting here in East Windsor, and I will preface that by saying that I've had personal contact with both the tribal chairman and have met the president and CEO of Foxwood since then. I grew up around a racetrack family, legalized gambling, and I don't particularly like the idea of that being the only kind of business we can bring into this town. But after seeing the character and judging it personally of those two individuals, the tribal chairman there, I think we couldn't ask for a better neighbor if it's going to be in the legalized gambling field. The chairman of the Mashantucket Pequots is involved in a lot of charitable groups. He is, if I'm not mistaken, the president or the chairman of the United Way down in that neck of the woods. The president of the Mohegans I spoke to and found out that he's a West Point graduate, a veteran, retired colonel that spent about 3 stints in, I believe, Beirut, okay, with a company of men and saw the worst of battle. And he has personally agreed. I said to him, regardless of whether you end up in East Windsor or Windsor Locks, I'd like you to be the person that could help us get back to giving veterans benefits in this area, and in particular, to helping me revamp what we started a couple of years ago called the PTSD Foundation. He said, Bob, I'm able to do that, I'm willing to do that, and quite, in fact, I've got people calling for me that fought with me overseas every day from all over the country regarding PTSD.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Okay.
Bill Lowes, Lowers Road. I think you hire a good attorney. I like his presentation. I think we'll do well.
Thank you. There you go.
Yes.
Greg Marabelli, Harrington Road. Since the time of the presentations, has the town proactively communicated with the tribes? And if so, what was the context of that? And if not, why haven't we?
Proactively, yes, I think Bob said this. We have worked internally and have submitted a proposal to the tribes at this point. I have heard what I would call very preliminary feedback from them, have not gotten into any type of detailed level of discussions as far as what they thought about our proposal, but we are definitely in negotiations with them.
I understand that. Was that done before the presentation?
No,
or have we done anything after?
No, that was all post.
Okay.
We had decided, first step was to hear what they were going to say in the information session and then go from there.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Can you comment on what you think the facility would look like? Is it going to be spread out parking with a structure in the middle of it, or will it be a garage with a facility on top of it, or do you have any idea?
The only, I think a couple things they talked about. They talked about the size of the building would be 200,000 square feet, and they also talked about it being about 100,000 square feet of gaming space and what they call and 100,000 of back of the office space. It's where patrons wouldn't go. Seems like a lot to me, but.
Well, I think by some of it might have been entertainment space too.
Yeah, that's
Which
true,
not
entertainment space. And there have been talks, probably given the configuration of that site, of possibly doing a underground parking structure. Just because it's on such a hill, and I think they want to try to use as much of the cinema as they can. That's all we know at that point. I mean, I think the other thing they talked about, what did I have? I mean, of course, they're being very general at this point. They talked about the number of slot machines and, what they say, an estimated 2,000 slot machines, 50 table games, 15 poker tables, restaurant and retail space.
Now, there's 3 houses that are currently on Route 5 that jut into that profile. Are we looking to procure those houses so that we can clean up that profile?
We've had, at least I've had, 0 discussions about that. The
That would
only
be
thing,
something that the MMCT folks would be interested in doing, if they were interested in doing it. That would not be a function of the town.
Bob again.
But it would have particular bearing on the approval process, being an adjacent area of property that would be voted on when it came to planning and zoning approvals, or zoning board of appeals approvals, or whatever.
That's true.
The process would have to go through the normal zoning process, normal wetlands process if there's a wetlands impact. All of the normal processes you'd have to do for any economic development. It's properly zoned as it stands. At least we assume at this point that it's properly zoned, so it is what it is. That's a discussion really though for the MMCT guys and their developer, not us.
Yeah, didn't the map of the overhead map, it showed those houses, it was around those houses, the houses were like cut out of that plan.
Yeah, and they're not on the parcel.
They may be having conversations with those owners, they may not be. That's, I can tell you, I don't know.
I think you're right, as I recall, the map, right, but the map was showing what I call the showcase parcel.
Yeah.
That doesn't include those properties.
Okay, further questions or comments? Okay, here, we'll move along. Now we'll go to selectmen comments and reports. Dale, you're up.
Okay. I don't have much to say because I was out of town, just returning last Tuesday. I attended the Warehouse Points Fire District meeting last night. The treasurer's report, the budget is 37% spent, which is good. Motion was made to pay for stone removal, $5,000 in the past. That was part of the budget. For the fire marshal, 91 hours a month is in the budget, which brought up the subject of the Clarion Hotel. This has been sold and has due management. It will require a new inspection, which will take 2 to 3 people about a week to go through the hotel. There were several code violations under previous management. Lou Flynn swore in Rich Austin as the new fire marshal. I swore in the commission. For Chief Barton, there were 25 calls in January. Physicals are scheduled for the end of April. Policies have been updated and will be completed by July 2017. The IM responding is working very well. Response time has been shortened. Engine 6 and rescue truck need new tires. They're over 10 years old. The cost is about $5,700 and was approved by the commission. Also approved by the commission was 6 sets of turnout gear. There are 2 new FSMs and 4 sets are over 10 years old. Approximately $20,000 for all. Approved by the commission. There was discussion of the security camera. Chief will keep this on his report. Mike Balk made a motion to buy a rolling gear rack, a basket for helmets, gear, and boots. As this equipment is just being piled on the floor, there is no area to hang them. It was approved by the commission to spend $2,100. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Richard Piven?
Okay, American Heritage River meeting, January 19th. They made $9 whole from sale of their decals at the New Year's hike. The river review, there's plenty of cold water. That was a kind of an understatement of the week. The water testing and sampling are continuing the standard testing that's been going on right along. The filler bed and Scannick River Trail are all in good shape. They had 183 people attend the New Year's Day hike. It went well, and they had good media coverage. January work party, there was none. Believe it or not, in January it was too muddy, if you can believe that. Scannick River Watershed, the report on our meeting. March was, flash details on the last weekend of March. The boat race will be the last Sunday in June, it'll be the 25th. And that's that for that one. And American Heritage, yeah, there I go again. Yeah, right back at it, I screwed it up. And the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Agency, Holden Farms came in for an update and approval to place some fill on a previously approved wetlands permit. They found a source and they just wanted to run it by him. Nothing else has changed, that was approved. Gerald Wilcox requested to reinstitute a permit that he'd had on 41 Winkler Road, which was expired, and they agreed to let the agent review it and approve it. That's next to Charlie Miller's house. Montserrat Realty, Connecticut Mulch, they did not accept the application because it was incomplete. New business none, old business none. They had an informal discussion with M&L Development for a single-family lot on Wells Road. And it's been in a lot existing for years, and now due to the sewers, it actually became buildable. And I guess that's what I've got in my mess here. Thank you.
Okay, Steve?
It's in the report, moving right along.
Okay, Jason?
On January 18th, the pension board met. We are currently paying out of our pension system 76 retirees. Our return on investment for the pension plan in 2016 was 6.85%, which was a very good performance. The plan has earned an 8.22% return on investment since inception versus a benchmark of 8.18%, besting the benchmark by 4 basis points. Rebecca gave a very good update on what's going on with the 250th Celebration Planning Committee. On the 23rd, the pension board had a special meeting to prepare for upcoming bargaining unit negotiations concerning the town's pension. This will be a lot of work and keep us pretty busy over the next several months. I will not be reporting on the status of the negotiations until they've been finalized and approved, but will then provide as much information as I'm able. On the 24th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours event with the tribal chairman from MMCT to mingle with tribal leaders and town officials and informally discuss their proposal. Later that night, we attended the public information forum about the same topic. Hundreds of people turned out to hear more about the proposal and to voice their opinions in favor or against. To see this type of participation from town residents was really encouraging. On the 27th, I joined Bob for preliminary discussions pertaining to the development agreement between the town and MMCT that Bob and Mike addressed earlier. We talked about public safety implications, school district implications, quality of life implications, and formulated an initial proposal, which has been since submitted. Also, 3 weeks ago at our last Selectmen's meeting, I asked the town reach out to KERMA to determine the liability implications of having volunteers do refurbishment work at the town hall annex. I received a couple more inquiries from the same constituents asking if there's been any headway on that. Have we reached out to KERMA about that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Could we for the next time?
Okay.
They're interested in making this more of a PR thing if we don't have some sort of good traction. That's all I have.
Okay.
In conclusion, I'm done.
And I have only one thing to report, and that occurred on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. A house down on South Road had an oil tank in the back, and it was above ground, and I guess 275 gallons, and it leaked. The owner was away, maybe in Florida or something, for a few days, and came back and didn't have any heat, I guess, and the tank was empty, but it had emptied into the ground, more or less. Interestingly enough, underneath the tank was this catch vessel that's supposed to contain an oil spill if the tank leaks, but also it's kind of like a bathtub, I guess. I haven't seen it, but the way it's described, underneath the tank to catch the oil. But also there's a drain plug in it so you can let the water out if it fills up with water. So they had taken the drain plug out, so it was pretty useless. And all this oil went into the ground, and our town engineer was down there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and various environmental protection agencies were there, and they were cleaning it up, and once they said, well, the town owns this property because this is a land lease situation. We own the property, they own the house, and so they stopped working, but then they continued working. And so now it's a problem. They took out like 6 loads of contaminated soil. The house is made on a slab, and it was made for housing of, I guess, military housing at one point. And interestingly enough, fortunately, they put an 8-foot wall down below the slab. So a lot of the oil didn't go underneath the house, but they're still doing some research there. But speaking of Kerma, that's our insurance agency, the town insurance agency. So there's going to have to be some examination of our land lease, and just we're not sure who's going to have to pay for the cleanup, but it's quite expensive.
The owner of the tank. That's
Well,
not our tank.
It's true, and in the land lease, I read the land lease, and it said that the leaseor, which is us, is not responsible for the services such as heating and other services that the leasee has. So we'll have to do some more research. I just thought I'd let you know. Jim?
Bob, I was also there that day. The town is going to have to be careful on that. It looks like all those houses also have tanks that are in the ground still that need to be removed.
That's true. And my understanding is that in addition to above-ground tanks, they were in-ground tanks, maybe 500-gallon tanks. They were disconnected, I guess, from the houses, but they weren't properly mitigated. They usually fill it with sand or something, but this particular one they found in the backyard of this house was full of water, so there's some question about what to do with those tanks that are in the backyard.
So at a point in time, there was funding available through the DEEP for UST mitigation. I don't know if it's still there, or if it's still available, but it would be worth a phone call to ask.
Okay. All right, that's my report. Moving on to public participation. We've had a lot of it tonight, but is there any more? Rand?
Bob, regarding the South Road incident, I was there yesterday when they actually pulled the in-ground tanks, and there was some residual contamination because of the haphazard manner in which they had been discontinued. At this point, I've identified 7 additional individual structures that do have the containment vessels underneath. But as we discussed, you do have that plan moving forward with us, so.
Okay. Additional? Yeah.
My nickel's worth again tonight. I can't go without saying how pleased I am the way that all of you are working together. I've been critical in the past. In particular, I'm very optimistic about your ability to negotiate this casino thing, first of all by paying proper attention in lobbying efforts, especially to our 2 state reps and our state senator, regarding your feelings and the town's feelings going forward with the casino. The other thing that I'm cautiously optimistic about is your ability to upgrade the town treasurer's position with commensurate salary. And by working together, I think you got enough business experience and input for how to help write the job description to have it commensurate with the job to begin with, regarding degrees, experience, etc. You might want to, I liked your idea of having somebody else, another professional in the accounting field, come in to help you with your initial interviewing sessions, and maybe another person. You know, they have a director of finance in South. That's a director of finance. They have a director of finance in Ellington as well. And I kind of agree with you guys, the Director of Finance kind of sounds like Chief Financial Officer. And I don't think you want to go into this with any ideas of somebody being false advertised to and what the job consists of, so to speak. So the easiest thing you can do, your work is cut out for you, and I'm, again, delighted you're working together on this thing and you're getting some outside help. The easiest thing you can do is oversell a position or undersell it. But keep up the good work. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Further? Yeah, Tom.
Tom Talamini, 22 Race Road. On unfinished business, you have an asterisk by the Berwick Mill site remediation. Are they still coming at some point to talk to us? I know we're real busy with the casino, but I think this is something that we can't overlook. It's been way too long.
I'll give them a call. They, last I heard, they were still intending to come to us, and they had put it off maybe to maybe March, something like that. But last I heard, they were still. I haven't followed up for.
I mean, it's time that we, like Steve says, it's time to kick the can.
Yeah.
Get this going with them. Maybe when you call DEP about the other issue, throw a zinger in there for this.
Okay. Further public participation? Yeah.
I think I heard tonight that the pension board is negotiating changes to the plan. And as I understand our charter, the pension board's responsibility is to manage the fund, the pension fund. The plan, changes to the plan are the responsibility of the Board of Selectmen, not the pension board. So I would like you to go to the attorney and ask him to read both the state statute on pension plans and our charter to determine who has that responsibility.
We've done that already.
If you come up with something different than I just stated, I'd be very surprised, because I have read those a couple of times. And I'd like to, if the attorney has a written opinion, I'd like to see that.
Okay, thank you. Any further public participation?
Anybody else going to be in executive session?
Yeah, I think we're going to go into executive session now, so I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session and invite Mike Andriana to join us in executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 1206A, NE, and 1210, subsection B1, negotiations, and include the guest of Michael Andriana, attorney.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jason, did you vote?
I vote yes.
We can cancel all you, leave the system up until